Hello, hello. This is going to be an IG Live on loving your body via sustainable workouts. The topic of conversation is going to go a little bit further. Hello, Lynn. Welcome. A little bit more than workouts, right? As usual, like the workout component is something that I'm bringing in, of course, but all of the fundamentals behind this talk is going to be the work that I do, right? With the feminine, with the body wisdom, with hormonal balancing and cyclical living. So we're going to bring all of that into the conversation. Hello, welcome. Hi, Aurora. Hello. So yeah, feel free to chime in at any point with your questions or just with your comments. But the idea really, and this was sort of kind of inspired from a question that I saw in one of the groups that I'm a part of. And one of the questions was, I need to start working out again, but I hate burpees. How do I love burpees again, right? And of course, that was like a huge red flag for me. I was like, oh, this is a good topic of conversation. And then another one was, yeah, I used to work out and then I stopped because life, X, Y, and Z, right? Injuries, work, family, whatever, right? For me, it was my spiritual awakening, like all these reasons why we stop moving. And then the starting back up, like it feels like you're literally walking with cement blocks on your back up a mountain, right? So I want to talk about that because this is the reason why Mubar and Temple exists. It's the reason why I've created cyclical living and workouts, different formats in the studio for you to come in or join online to create a system that is sustainable and provides results long term. Okay, so for any of you who are new to bar, bar is incredibly results driven. Like, it's just difficult, challenging, and it's also fun. So it's something that once you get on the boat, it's like you just want to keep coming back in, right? So if you have already taken some of my bar classes, feel free to type in what you feel. But that's just how I feel about it, right? But I didn't always feel, so I come from a big fitness background, and I had my own relationship with working out. And I want to talk about this because, especially for us women, our relationship with our bodies and our relationship with movement and how the fitness industry, in my opinion, and from what I've seen from other people that also sort of understand the relationship between mind and body and the way that we use workouts, it's been very distorted. And this is what I believe is part of the work with the feminine, understanding that our relationship with our body is like primordial. It's foundational. We need to be moving our bodies. Like, we need to be connected to our bodies now more than ever, right? Because everything in our surroundings is telling us that our body doesn't have enough wisdom or intelligence, right? And so this is why I believe that movement is so important, because it brings us back in. It brings us back in time and time again. No matter your belief systems, no matter your opinions, it's like when we move and we connect to our bodies and we strengthen our bodies from the inside out, this intelligence and this wisdom starts to activate. Okay, so coming back into my first question of, how do I make myself love workouts, or how do I make myself love burpees, right? The answer, at least from my opinion, is you don't. You can't. You can't love something that you don't want. It's kind of like lying to yourself. It's kind of like being with somebody and being like, how do I make this person better than what they actually are? You don't change that person. You change you, right? So same thing with the way that we see movement. And I want to share this because this has been my process with movement, okay? I grew up as a professional dancer, and so the relationship with my body has always been like, it's been front and center, but it hasn't always been healthy. And so coming into bar and running into all of these different formats of bar, again, I started using working out and fitness as a way to like mold and change the person that I was. Like, oh, I'm not okay with my body, so let me use this thing to change my body. And so where I feel that I am with that process now is that I actually love my body. Like, I don't work out because I need to work out. I work out because I need to move, which is a very, very big difference. So I want you to ask yourself, Are you working out because you feel like you need to work out for X, Y, and Z reasons? Or are you actually working out because you need to move in a healthy way and come back to self-love? And I think that's going to be like a foundational question for you when it comes to how do I make myself love my workouts or love burpees, right? If you don't like burpees or if you don't like your workouts, it's probably because it's not healthy for you. Like, I forced myself to love certain exercises until I realized that my hormones were out of balance, until I realized that mentally I was exhausting myself. Physically, I was exhausting and fatiguing my body, my hormones, like all these things were out of balance, which then caused me and my relationship with food to be out of balance, right? So everything is connected. So when we come back and ask ourselves, what kind of movement would actually feel good in my body that I could show up to, even daily? Because I do believe that we're supposed to be moving daily. Like, I'm a huge advocate of movement. If I skip a day of movement, of working out, the next day I wake up and I'm just like agitated. I'm like, ugh, that's how I feel. Awesome. As a newbie and coming back to movement, I'm loving your bar classes. Thank you, Aurora. Yeah, and so this is why I've created different formats. I want us to think about movement and working out as a way to. So I woke up today and I drank this herbal tea last night, which was rose and chamomile tea. I'm creating herbal blends now. Because of everything that's happening in Hawaii and businesses, and that's a different conversation. But I genuinely believe that our body's wisdom says everything. And so when we disconnect to our body's wisdom, that's when everything goes haywire, you know? So I drank this rose chamomile tea last night, and so I woke up, like, my heart was just wide open. I felt so centered and in love with the mission of the studio, which is way more than just working out. It's like, can we come back to sustainable wellness and well-being and anchoring into our I am presence? We'll leave that for another topic of conversation, another conversation. But when we bring all of that, we say, okay, so what are the practical things I can do, right? Because we talk about spirituality, we talk about all these things that we could do, and sometimes it's not very practical. It's not very like wash the dishes and brush your teeth, right? For me, it involves movement. And so you can't move every day in the same way. And that's another thing that I want to bring up. Your workouts, just like cyclical living, if you followed any of my work with cyclical living and understanding that, especially as women, we have seasons in our bodies within every single cycle. Even if you don't have your cycle, you still have seasons that your body's going through because we have hormones. And those hormones are changing every single day. And they don't look like beautiful little curves either. It's not just like, ovulation, okay, pre-menses, menses. It doesn't always look like that, right? It depends on the stress that we have. It depends on our relationships. It depends on, it depends on so many things. The list goes on and on and on. Our environment. So because of that, it's really important to start to tune into your body and say, what feels good in my body? Right? And you're not going to say yes to the same thing every day. I can't do a HIIT workout every day. I actually don't like HIIT workouts. I might do them like twice a month, right? In the middle of my summer or ovulation, right? When my hormones are peaking and I have so much energy, but that's about it. I can't say HIIT workouts, yes to HIIT workouts every day. And vice versa. Like, I love yoga, but I don't like yoga every day. It doesn't feel good in my body every day. It keeps me kind of ungrounded and too loose. And so this is why I've created the 4 different formats for Moo Bar and Temple. So if you look at the schedule, you're gonna see 4 different bar classes. They're all fundamentally aligned with the principles of bar, which is, for those of you with a lot of injuries that are coming in, or those of you who haven't moved in a long time, and you're like, I'm really scared, I don't know what to expect. Have no expectations, just know that you're in really good hands. But understand that all classes are completely low impact and completely safe to the body. And this is where we need to start to create something that's sustainable and something that you can say, I can show up to this even if you wanted to every day, because you're never gonna get the same workout every day. You're not getting the same format. It's not the same focus. So for example, today is bar strength. We're focusing on higher resistance training, slower movements, and complete alignment principles. So all of you that came in with a little bit of injuries in the shoulder or rehabilitating the core or whatever it was, we made sure to work on those things, right? And so Monday was bar cardio. So for those of you that love cardio, yeah, we go hard with cardio, but we don't have to do that every day, and we actually can't. And if we do, we're actually hurting ourselves. And that's how the 4 formats are created. There's 2 more. There's flow and then there's burn. And so we're constantly moving the body in different ways to allow for that cyclical nature of our bodies to be normal and natural, right? So you're not forcing your body to do something day to day where at some point you're like, I'm so over this, I can't show up to this anymore, I'm just exhausted and fatigued. Let me know if any of this is making sense. And then I have my mate too. I made some mate. I'm playing around with herbal blends, so you're gonna find those at the studio. And it's just really exciting and fun. So when it comes to cyclical living, does anybody have any questions with cyclical living and the seasons and actually working out according to your seasons? Now, you don't have to do, again, the same workout every day. Like, just because you're in summer doesn't mean you're doing cardio and HIIT, right? You're actually not supposed to. And that's another distortion of the cyclical living pattern, is like, oh, let me take full advantage of X, Y, and Z. We're not taking full advantage of anything. We are creating a balanced way of sustainable results, right? So if you look at a lot of cultures that have sustainable well-being late into their late years of life, they're not like fully forcing and pushing their body to the extreme limits for a short period of time, right? They have routines, and they have, I'm thinking of like Eastern modalities. There's just a lot of balance in the routine. So it's like you're working out the body, you're finding ways of mindful strength training from the inside out. And that's what's worked for me. That's the way that I've been able to show up now daily, literally quite daily. Maybe I'll take a day off because as a teacher, sometimes I just don't feel like talking and teaching. But movement, sustainable movement, yeah, it's possible. And it's possible for you to actually love it and get excited about it. And that's another thing I want to talk about, because I think it's really important to have a community around you, especially after this whole year that we've been indoors. We have forgotten what it feels like to be in a community setting when it comes to working out. And this is not just about my studio. This is about just across the board. Any space, gym, facility that you walk into, you're going to automatically feel that sense of, oh, there's people around me and we're all in that same process. And to me, in my eyes, especially at this time, it's more important than ever to start feeling safe in that. Start feeling safe in being around people and being able to move and experience this in a community setting, because it's fundamental to our humanness. And if you get me, you get me. So, and if you don't, please ask questions, comment, because I want this to be a conversation, and I want people to feel healthy and good about showing up and moving, because it boosts your immune system, right? Because it's a sustainable way of staying healthy. If I actually stop moving, that's where my immune system shuts down. And that's just like common immune system 101 stuff, right? Like moving the body, getting the hormones moving, getting the mind active, resistance training, strengthening the bones, strengthening the muscles. These are all things that need to be done in a very balanced way. Okay, any questions, any comments? So just making sure that you have different routines, even if you're not working out with me, even if you're not taking bar, making sure that you have different routines on a daily basis so that you are not overexhausting any specific muscle group, right? So if you're doing the same kind of workout every single day, and I had a conversation earlier with a client remembering those days of P90X and like insanity and all that stuff, right? Like, oh my God, we would do like 24 days, or I would cross off the whole calendar, and then I don't know what would happen. I would completely fatigue and drop down to the floor, and I would quit for 3 months. It's like, yeah, because that's against our very nature as human beings. Like, just how we have day and night, there's no day and night in that. It's just like poof, sun for 30 days, right? No, it's not good. You're gonna burn yourself out, quite literally. So, and again, this is not to bash any kind of workout. Like, I love that workout, but I can't do that workout every day. So this is just an opportunity for you to come back in. Maybe you're the type of person who can do that workout. Just be honest with yourself and ask, is this sustainable for me long term? And do I feel good doing it every day or every other day? If yes, then perfect. That's your sustainable way of working out. But if no, what my intention is here with you today is to tell you, you can have a sustainable way of working out. You can have a sustainable way of showing up to your body and anchoring into your body on a daily, if not bi-daily, every other day basis, right? Now, I want to tie this into sort of having a sustainable workout routine for those of us who have been in the spiritual process, or who are in the midst of an awakening, or understand that our spirit body right now is taking in a tremendous amount of light. And how do you know that? Because your reality starts to shock against the things that are happening, and you're being asked to level up. So you have a lot of releases, you have a lot of opportunities to quite literally step up into the next level or version of yourself. You're facing your fears, you're crossing boundaries you never crossed before. Like, you're doing things that you know are anchored into your truth, and yet they're not easy. And so in that process, at least for me, in that spiritual awakening, I got very disconnected from my body. And I find that finding a sustainable way of working out, finding a community that I can show up to every day and move in my body feels freaking amazing. Like, it's the most grounding thing that I can do, to pick up a light set of weights or to pick up a resistance band and get inside a class and just move together, because you're taking the external circumstances away for just 45 minutes or just 1 hour, and you're taking an opportunity to come inside, right? Just like we do with meditation, just like we do with sound healing, just like we do with energy healing and yoni steams and everything else that you find in the space, so can you do that too with working out and moving your body. And I want to make it a point that anchoring into our bodies, especially while we're anchoring so much light, is quite literally, it's like the missing piece of the puzzle. Sometimes we forget how important our physical body is in this process. And sustainable workouts to me has been the only thing that has literally kept my head on my shoulders. Like, it's kept my spirit inside my body. Because the first thing that my spirit wants to do is, I'm out, peace, I'm not part of this reality. And it's like, no, I'm here, I'm sticking around, and I'm finding a sustainable way to love this body, which is my vehicle of ascension, which is my grounding rod, whatever you want to use, to keep me healthy and to keep me in a sustainable, well-balanced mind, body, and spirit space. So you can, with all of that being said, love your workout and have a sustainable way of incorporating workouts that are results driven, right? Because it's not enough to just move every day. And when I mean results driven, I'm not talking about changing the way you look. That's not what I'm talking about. Results driven means that you are getting stronger with your workouts. You're being mentally challenged as well, right? Because you need to have a strong mind, but you also need to have a strong body. And then you're also not coming out of your workouts unbalanced. Like, you're not waking up the next day in a painful way. You're working out in a, oh, I'm sore, I feel good kind of way. But it's not like, oh, my neck is tight, and and this is where we go into like the sustainable movements, right? The bar follow class that I developed is specifically made to counteract all the other classes. So in the bar follow class, we're gonna do a lot of focus on stretching out and lengthening the muscles and the body, because everything else is so focused on tightening and strengthening and focused on shortening the muscles, right? So, and that's one of the things that you find in bar, is that understanding of shortening concentric and eccentric movements, shortening and lengthening the muscles through specific movements, okay? So overall, the idea behind sustainable workouts is that you are able to show up daily, if not every other day, and love your practice. Just like we've done with yoga as a collective, right? It's a collective understanding that you can show up to yoga on a daily or every other day way and feel good. That's the same intention that I have with barre, to make you feel really good every day or every other day. So you get out of here and you feel freaking amazing and grounded and strong. And if it's not via barre, may it be via any other workout that feels good for you. But my question to you is, how are your hormones doing? How is your relationship with your food? So if you will know if you're depleting your body because you'll reach for food in a more extreme way. So when we are fatiguing our body in unhealthy ways, you'll reach for food because you are quite literally feeling depleted. Whereas if you have a sustainable routine, you're gonna reach for food because you're gonna want to nourish your body. You're gonna come from two very different places. And I'm really curious to know how you guys feel in that regard. Like, do you ever feel that way, especially after workouts, when we feel like we want to get a really good workout in, but then a day later, 24 hours later, when your body's still recovering, how are you eating? And that's a really big question to be honest with yourself about. Feel free to type into and let me know your comments. And then also a few questions to ask yourself. I made a few notes. Where are you working out from? So when you walk into a space, or when you walk into your living room to take an online class, or your gym, or whatever it is that you're showing up for, what is your intention for that day? Or what is your intention when you pick up your weights or you get on the treadmill? Right? Are you trying to change your physical body? Or are you quite literally showing up to that practice because you literally love your body and you want to honor the temple that your body is? It's a huge difference that I never asked myself up until recently, where everything about cyclical living came into being, where I said, wow, I've always just worked out because, well, not always, at a certain age when programming kicks in. It's like, oh, I've been working out because I was told that I should look different, so I should work out to do that. As opposed to, I'm working out because I love movement, which is the reason why I started working out without working out when I was like 7 years old, rollerblading for hours on end because I loved how high I got from just moving around. Totally different experience. And then ask yourself, how do you feel while you're working out? And that's where that question that we started this chat with is, are you hating your exercise and then promising yourself that it's going to be worth it? I hate that mentality. I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's a healthy way for you to think about your movement practice. I think what's more sustainable and healthy is, shit, maybe this is hard, but it feels so good. Like, it's like that feeling. Like, it shouldn't feel easy either. It is a workout. You have to create some kind of resistance, right? And that's that discipline aspect of growth. Like, you need resistance and you need discipline, but you shouldn't hate it, right? It's a totally different perspective. Yeah, for sure. You do it in honor of your body, but you didn't always do it that way, for sure. Yeah. And it's something that I think that we're learning, right? Like, more self-love is more reason to move, but moving in a healthy way. And that to me is like huge. Like, I feel like that's one of my big missions and intentions with this studio is like, can we all start just moving in a way that we love our bodies and love the sense of moving, right? In the last women's circle towards the end, which is something I always wanted to do in my women's circles and I didn't do it. And so now I have the beautiful opportunity to co-host with Leanne and Anella. And they were like, yeah, let's do dance at the end of the circle. And I was like, oh, I love it. And then we could not stop dancing because it felt so good. It felt so good to just move and express. And sometimes that's your movement practice for the day, right? Maybe it's just getting up and dancing. But you need that resistance training at some point of the month, okay? And then, yeah, really getting curious about, do you already have a sustainable practice? Or can you create one? Can you get curious about how your hormones are? Because your hormones do change. And it's really important. I have found that if I don't honor my season of my cycle, right? We have 4 seasons. I'm not going to go into that because I have all these courses that explain all of that. But the 4 seasons of our menstrual cycle as a woman or as a person with a womb. So if you don't honor them, chances are at some point, maybe not the first month, maybe not the second month, likely by the 3rd month, definitely by the 4th, you're going to crash. There's going to be some kind of exhaustion, or, which is another thing that I'm finding from some of you walking in or that I'm speaking to, is injuries. Injuries is a way for your body to tell you, enough, it's not working out, it's not good for me. And so sometimes we think, oh, it's because I didn't do it right or whatever. I used to do CrossFit when I was younger. Do you have any idea how many injuries I had to go through to the point where I said, oh, it's my body telling me that this is not good for me? Like, hello, shins completely broken, like shoulders. It was like, this is not, and again, I love CrossFit. Like, for those of you that are down for CrossFit, hats off, I can't do it. So your body will tell you, is my point, right? Your body will tell you. If you walk into this bar class and you hate it, you're gonna be like, nope, not for me. Pretty easy, pretty simple. But is it gonna be challenging? Yes, of course. That's the whole point of working out and disciplining your mind, disciplining your body. But long term, if you're fatiguing, or if you're finding that you have adrenal fatigue, which is a big one for women with their workouts, where you're having injuries, then something is off. Something is really off. And I want to start to close off the chat with saying that bar is based off, and I'm not only trained in bar, obviously I have a lot of Pilates background and movement dance background and yoga background. So these movements are based primarily of Pilates principles. That's how bar was created. And Pilates was an art that was created a movement practice that was created to rehabilitate the spine, right? And so if you're on your awakening journey, or you understand the fundamentals of your spine holds everything. It is literally your center, your rod that holds you upright. And so when our spine starts to do this from sitting all day, or it starts to get twisted because we're walking wrong, or we're sitting wrong, or our body has injuries, and so we gave birth and our pelvic floor is weak, and I could talk on until your ears fall off about the reasons why our spine is not the way it's supposed to be. So when our spine is not healthy in a straight, healthy way, in a neutral way, let me be anatomically correct, we start to get injuries, or we start to work out in ways that are not beneficial to us long term. So a lot of you that are coming in with the low back pain, with like joint pain is a big one. All of these things are coming from either you're sitting wrong, your alignment is wrong, or the workouts that you're doing are not supporting your fundamental needs anatomically. If you're interested in learning more about that, leave a comment, because I want to start making these chats at least monthly, if not weekly, because I want to share so much. And I think it's important to give you little tidbits of information, not to overwhelm you. And I would love to have more discussions and topics to share about movement, about your spiritual journey, about all the things, okay? So coming back, wrapping up, you have any questions? Aloha! Val, so good to see you. Val has been taking online bar since the very beginning and loving it. So yes, just to wrap up the chat on sustainable workouts and loving your body through sustainable workouts. If you are local to Oahu, the studio is new. We have our open house this weekend, Labor Day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Free classes, free sound healing. I'm going to be doing free mini sessions, energy sessions, just a lot of really good stuff. I'm creating herbal blends, but your first class is free. So come on into the studio. I promise I'm going to take care of you. If you love it, great. If you don't, that's great as well. I'm here to help you with your body, to help you find a way to sustainably show up for yourself first and foremost at this time that we need to just anchor into our truth, whatever that is, right? Everyone's truth is perfect. And so when we activate the wisdom of our bodies, we can anchor into our truth. And I just strongly believe that, like with everything that I have. And I find that movement to me is that tool to anchor in, to constantly believe that your body has everything that you need. So if you take care of your body, you take care of everything in your life. So before I start crying, your first class is free. Hola Laritza. And you can download the app. Just download the app called Glow Fox, and then you'll search for the studio Mubar and Temple. And under memberships, you'll see first class free. Just sign up there. If you have trouble, just DM me, message me, or just walk in. I have classes every day, morning and evening. Yay, see you Saturday. Yes, yes, yes. And that's it. I would love to see you guys soon. Barre is an incredible workout. I'm pretty sure once you try it, you're gonna get addicted like everyone else that's walking in, loving it. And for my Barre addicts, you just gotta come on in. Laritza, you gotta take a little trip to Hawaii, you know, come check out the space, spend some time together. And that's it. Really, my intention with this chat today was to support all of us in finding sustainable ways of working out that feel good, that are still challenging, that are results driven. And if you want to understand what results driven means, go back into the video, and really just aligning mind, body, spirit, because we can't do anything without one of those components. You can't just do the spiritual stuff. It doesn't work. I tried it. You're just not gonna work long term. You're not just gonna do the physical stuff. It's not gonna work. You're gonna find fatigue and adrenal exhaustion. You can't just do the mental stuff. You can't stay in your mind because you'll never open your heart. And these are just old things, like at this point, right? What year is this? Like, we know these things. We just have to take care of them, anchor them in, and find sustainable ways of doing that, right? Find community that's gonna support you. I hope you find community here. If not, please find community somewhere, because I think that community now more than ever is one of the most powerful things that we have as a human species. Okay, I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mahalo. I hope to see you in the studio soon, and take advantage of that first free class. If you are not local, we have the online classes, right? So we have a whole online platform that you can access, like many of you that are listening to this now. Okay, I send you so much love. See you soon.